Hey there, America! Breaking news that you need to hear right now. The stimulus package we've all been waiting for has finally been approved. That's right, $3,000 stimulus checks are coming to millions of Americans, and Social Security payments are dropping this Friday. Could this be the financial relief you've been desperately waiting for? Let's dive into all the details you absolutely need to know. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now so you don't miss any updates on stimulus payments, Social Security benefits, and other critical financial news that could put thousands of dollars in your pocket. So here's the bombshell announcement that just came through. After months of congressional deadlock and fierce negotiations, lawmakers have finally reached an agreement on a new economic relief package. The centerpiece of this legislation? A direct payment of $3,000 to eligible Americans. This isn't just another rumor or speculation, this is happening now, and the first wave of deposits is scheduled to hit bank accounts starting this Friday. But who exactly qualifies for these payments? The income thresholds are similar to previous stimulus programs, but with some important changes you need to be aware of. Single filers earning under $75,000 annually will receive the full $3,000 payment, with the amount gradually decreasing for those earning up to $95,000. For married couples filing jointly, the full payment will go to those earning under $150,000, phasing out at $190,000. But here's what makes this stimulus different: families with dependents will receive additional support regardless of the dependent's age. This means college students and adult dependents who were previously excluded can now qualify. Are you or your loved ones in this category? This could mean thousands of extra dollars for your household. What about Social Security recipients? This is where things get even more interesting. If you're one of the millions of Americans who rely on Social Security benefits, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Not only will you automatically receive the stimulus payment without having to file any additional paperwork, but there's also a temporary boost to your regular benefits being implemented. Have you been struggling to keep up with rising costs on your fixed income? This temporary increase is designed specifically to help counter the effects of inflation that have been squeezing retirees and disabled Americans. Now, let's talk about timing. The Treasury Department has announced an aggressive rollout schedule. Direct deposits begin this Friday for those who have banking information on file with the IRS. Paper checks will follow starting next week, and prepaid debit cards will be mailed shortly after. But have you ever wondered why some people get their payments before others? The distribution order is determined by several factors, including your income level, filing status, and whether you're a Social Security recipient. In fact, Social Security beneficiaries are being prioritized in this round of payments, meaning many seniors and disabled individuals could see the money in their accounts before anyone else. So what should you do to ensure you receive your payment as quickly as possible? First, check that your direct deposit information is up to date with the IRS. If you've moved recently, make sure your address is current in their system. And if you haven't filed taxes in the last 2 years because your income didn't require it, consider using the non-filers tool on the IRS website. Have you taken these steps already? Then you're ahead of the game and should expect to see your payment soon. But what's driving this sudden push for additional stimulus? Economic indicators have been sending mixed signals in recent months. While unemployment has stabilized, inflation concerns and supply chain disruptions continue to put pressure on American households. The ongoing housing crisis has left many families struggling to keep a roof over their heads. Did you know that nearly 40% of Americans reported difficulty covering usual household expenses in the most recent Census Bureau survey? These payments are aimed at providing immediate relief while longer-term economic policies take effect. Critics of the legislation have raised concerns about the impact on the national deficit and potential inflationary effects. However, supporters argue that targeted relief is necessary to prevent a deeper economic downturn. What do you think? Is this stimulus package the right approach, or would other forms of economic intervention be more effective in the long run? It's also worth noting that this payment is separate from the annual Social Security Cost of Living Adjustment, COLA, that was announced last month. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, you'll soon be seeing both your regular monthly increase and this special stimulus payment. Have you been factoring these increases into your budget for the coming year? Many financial advisors suggest creating a specific plan for stimulus funds rather than treating them as regular income. For those concerned about taxation, here's some good news: these stimulus payments will not be counted as taxable income. That means you won't have to worry about setting aside a portion for next year's tax bill. However, The payments could potentially affect eligibility for certain income-based programs. If you're currently receiving benefits that have strict income limits, you might want to consult with a financial advisor about how to properly report these funds. Now, let's address some common questions that have been flooding in. Will there be additional stimulus payments in the future? While this package is currently positioned as a one-time payment, congressional leaders haven't ruled out the possibility of further assistance if economic conditions warrant it. The legislation includes trigger provisions that could automatically initiate discussions of additional relief if specific economic thresholds are crossed. What indicators would suggest that more help is needed? Factors like unemployment rates, consumer spending, and inflation figures will all play a role in those determinations. Another frequent question concerns individuals who are on multiple government programs. If you receive both Social Security and veterans benefits, for example, you'll still receive just one stimulus payment. However, the good news is that you'll receive it through whichever program typically deposits funds first, meaning you won't have to wait longer than necessary. For those who owe back taxes, child support, or other government debts, there's important information you need to know. Unlike some previous stimulus programs, these payments are protected from most forms of garnishment, with the exception of child support arrears. If you're behind on child support payments, some or all of your stimulus could be intercepted. Have you been keeping up with your obligations? This could determine whether you receive the full amount. What should you do with your $3,000 stimulus payment when it arrives? Financial experts recommend prioritizing essential needs first: housing, utilities, food, and medicine. Once those immediate needs are met, consider paying down high-interest debt or building an emergency fund if you don't already have one. Have you thought about how this payment could help improve your long-term financial security rather than just providing temporary relief? For those who are fortunate enough to be financially stable, this stimulus payment represents an opportunity to support local businesses that have been struggling throughout recent economic challenges. Consider spending a portion at small businesses in your community. Have you noticed favorite local establishments that have been having a tough time lately? Your stimulus dollars could help keep their doors open. As we wrap up today's breaking news, let's recap what you need to know. $3,000 stimulus checks have been approved and will begin hitting bank accounts this Friday, with Social Security recipients among the first to receive payments. The eligibility requirements have been expanded to include more Americans than previous programs, and the payments will not be taxed as income. Remember to keep an eye on your bank account or mailbox in the coming days, and be vigilant about potential scams. The IRS will never call, text, or email you asking for personal information related to your stimulus payment. Have you received suspicious communications already? Report them immediately to the proper authorities. This is potentially life-changing news for millions of Americans who have been struggling to make ends meet. If you found this information helpful, please take a second to hit that like button and share this video with friends and family who might benefit from this news. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for continuous updates on stimulus payments, Social Security changes, and other critical financial information that affects your bottom line. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with more breaking financial news you can't afford to miss.